his beloved, or am I worthless? I've made this big mistake. I'm such a bobo head. Is that how my Elohim sees me? Or do I make teshuvah? Say, this is what I've done, Elohim. I'm coming into your house at Bethany, the house of dates. Date represents restoration. I'm coming to you to be restored, and I'm coming into the presence of Yeshua. Your restoration, your redemption, your deliverance from whatever it is that's making me feel that I'm useless, I'm worthless, I'm of no value. Okay? The word bohu, means void, empty, waste, ruin. But the Proto-Hebrew of this word means an empty space needing to be filled. If I come to him tohu, that I feel like I have no value, and I'm bavohu, I feel like I need to be filled, then why am I going as a shattered vessel into the house to be repaired? So that I can be filled. Okay? So we move on to verse 4. It says, and my spirit faints within me. My heart within me is appalled. Okay? My spirit is ruach. It means mind. Faints means to turn away. It means to be feeble, to be weak. So where is my mind? Where are my thoughts? Where are my emotions? Where are my passions? When these difficulties come, do they turn me away? Do they make me weak? Do they lie to me because they're deceitful? Okay? My heart, now this word led, is inner being, mind, will, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Where did we say that we get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? We're in our study of the Ark. We go to the Word. We seek his knowledge in the Word. We gain his knowledge and gain wisdom. And once we have understanding, we can actually apply the Word to our situation. Say, well, that's all that Bible stuff. It's just a collection of stories, and really it's only relevant for a couple of hours on Sunday morning. Or is it? Is it really? Or is it something that touches our lives every single day that we're alive? And it says, my heart within me is appalled. The word here is shamen, which means desolate, empty, and waste. The Proto-Hebrew says that there is an absence of breath. What did Elohim breathe into the little mud man? He breathed into him the breath of life. He breathed his spirit into this little man of clay, and that man of clay became what? He became a living nefesh. Neshama, actually. He became a living soul. So, what does this separation from Elohim affect? It affects a whole lot more than my mind. It affects everything that I am. That's what our soul is. It's everything that I'm comprised of is affected. Verse 5, it starts to get good. It says, I remember the days of old. What are the days of old? We talked about it several studies back. When we talked about the way things were in Bereshit 1 after the light came. What happened after the light came? That he made land, and then he made sure that land was moist. There was waters above and there was waters below. It watered itself because it was self-contained water that flowed through the land that caused trees to grow, that caused fruit to come from those trees, that allowed fish, life, to live within those waters. The birds in the air. I remember the days of old. I should call to my recollection what it is to have a relationship in you. that within me I am infilled with your anointing, with Mashiach. That because of that I have life inside. Because of that, the birds in the air, I can communicate with you. I grow trees, so to speak, that I bear fruit. The days of old. I remember the days of old. I meditate. I ponder on all of your doing. This word for doing is actually works or acts. And then the next phrase here says, I study the work of your hands. Where do we find the work of his hands that encourages us to build a relationship with him? Where do we find the work of his hands that we can study to encourage us? Again, it goes back to the Torah. You know, we don't always have to read, and this, I'm going to kind of reverse the last statement. We don't always have to dig to find relevance. Sometimes it's simply a matter of reading the story of David and Goliath. That I'm David, and that I can go up against Goliath, and I can lop that sucker's head off after I've pelted it with a rock, and that I can become king, being led by Seh HaElohim. So remember the days of old, that in him I receive everything I need to grow, and that if I study his works, then I am rebuilt day to day, that I can continue going forward, beating my enemies. We said enemies, so yeah, what is it? Problems, issues, the things that shoot the arrows at me every day. Excuse me. I spread forth my hands unto you, my soul thirsts after you, as a weary land, Selah. Basically, I spread forth my hands unto you. I yield to you. I spread forth my hands. The word for spread forth is parashati. Okay? It's this first word here that you read. I break forth. This word actually means to shatter, to break apart. If I shatter my hands, what am I doing? If I say hands represent strength, power, ability. If I shatter my strength, power, and ability, and I depend on his truth, power, and ability, the word for hand is yod. Okay? It starts with the yod, which represents the truth, power, and ability of Elohim. What am I saying? That I'm depending on your strength and not on my strength. When we consider praise, if we've said that we're a vessel that's gone into the potter's house and has been restored by Yeshua, then we're a complete vessel to receive. Okay? If I say I spread forth my hands unto you, this is actually a very literal and very physical thing as well in the midst of our praise and worship. And we see so many people praising and worshiping like this. But when we praise and worship, we put our hands up. Why are we putting our hands up? Because palms are also, the kaf also means a cup, a vessel. That we are being a vessel to receive what Yahuwah is bringing into us, what he is infilling us with. And that my soul thirsts, it's weary, it's faint, because there is no water, there is no food. So why do I lift my hands? So that I can be infilled, so I can receive the water, so I can receive the nourishment. Weary land, again, barren soil, unkept, unplanted. If I go back up to the first one, if I study the work of your hands, of your truth, power, and ability, then I will shatter my truth, power, and ability. And then I won't be weary anymore, because your hands are what's going to work my soil. Your restoration is what's going to restore me from being a shattered vessel into a complete vessel, so that I can be once again filled. We say, I can do all things through Mashiach that strengthens me. What are we filled with? We're filled with his anointing. And it is through his anointing that we're able to believe and perceive what the Spirit tells us. It's through his Spirit that we can understand what the Word has to say to us. So, study, praise, prayer go hand in hand in building ourselves to be a solid vessel to receive. Answer me speedily, Yahuwah. My spirit fails. Hide not your face from me, lest I become like them that go down into the pit. Sounds pretty serious. It sounds like, saying, oh, my spirit's failing. Normally we'd say, don't pray like that. Don't speak negatives, but is he really speaking negatives here? Answer me. Respond. Perceive, understand what I'm asking you. Anan is the word. Speedily is quickly in everything that there is, everything that there was, everything there will be, today, yesterday, and tomorrow. Because there's Yahuwah again. Because my spirit is not complete unless I hear from you. This is what we're saying. My spirit doesn't fail. I'm saying I'm incomplete without hearing from you. I'm incomplete without your anointing. I'm incomplete if I am not surrounded and infilled with Mashiach. Mashiach is something that we have to understand is a whole lot more than just saying, oh, I'm waiting for some guy named Messiah to show up and sit on a throne in Jerusalem. Mashiach is something that's with us all the time. It dwells within us, surrounds us. It's the anointing of Yahuwah that allows us to communicate. Hide not your face from me. Okay? Don't be absent in my life is basically what the Hebrew of this phrase is saying. Don't be absent in my life. Lest I become like them that go down into the pit. In other words, there is not a complete life without Elohim. What's in the pit? Darkness. There's no light. Cause me, verse 8, cause me to hear your loving kindness in the morning, for in you do I trust. Cause me to know the way in which I should walk, for unto you have I lifted up my soul. That sounds pretty good. Cause me to hear. The word cause me isn't really here, but the word Shema is. Again, what is my responsibility? What did Yeshua say the most important commandment was? He didn't say the most important commandment was to love Yahweh with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength at first. He added that to the first part of that commandment, which is Shema Yisrael. Yahuwah Eloheinu Yahuwah Echad. Hear, listen, perceive, discern, understand, obey, apply, and be content in me. Okay? So what am I saying? Help me to be able to know you. Help me to be able to perceive you. Help me to be able to understand your ways. How is he going to help us to do all this stuff? How can we understand his loving kindness, which is a word that means faithfulness, means to be secure? How can we know? How can we perceive? How can we understand his faithfulness, his trustworthiness, that I'm secure? How do I know this? Something tells me. What tells me? If I sit down to study.
He speaks. He's always there. He's ever present.
He's ever present. Well, last week we said that we read his Torah. We pay attention to him through the Torah, but we also made a statement that he pays attention to us through his Torah. In other words, he gives us the instruction. How we act on it is what he sees. That's how he perceives us. So, in your loving kindness in the morning, what's the first time that we see morning in Torah? It's in Bereshit 1 on the first day. What's created in the morning, in the first day? Light. Light. When we come into the light, when we're coming out of the darkness, we've been in the darkness in the first half of this prayer, but now we come into the light, and in the light in Yeshua, in his restoration, redemption, and deliverance from all the problems that affect us, not just sin and death, but he delivers us from all the things that affect us. Then we see his loving kindness in the morning. And then we say, for in you do I trust, that I'm secure in you, I'm made secure in you. Cause me to know the way. The word for way is darech. It means path, journey, road. Let me know what highway I'm supposed to get on to get to the right place to where I'm going, in which I should walk. For you have lifted up my soul. What do we get here? We've come into this prayer in a darkened sense. We've come to understand that through his word, through praise, and through working on walking with him completely, he's done what? He's lifted up my soul. Okay? What was he doing at the beginning of this prayer? Yahuwah was stooping down to us, but now he's lifting us up. And when we say the Birchat Kohanim, what is one of the things that is said in that? Lift up your countenance to me. In other words, he's looking up at us. Okay? So we go through stages, but in the stages of darkness, we have to see them for what they are and not trust in ourselves to smack on a rock, but rather speak to the rock, who is Yeshua, who is the restoration, redemption, and deliverance from whatever problems are causing us to cry out that we're dying of thirst. And that if we speak to the rock, the water will come forth. If we strike the rock, then we're saying, I am Elohim. I can do all things through me who strengthens myself. Okay. Deliver me from my enemies, O Yahuwah. For with you I have hidden myself. Again, what are our enemies? Our problems, issues, concerns. He said, deliver me from my enemies today, yesterday, and tomorrow, in whatever that problem may be, in everything about that problem that there was, is, or will be. Deliver me completely from my problems, issues, and concerns. With you have I hidden myself. I trust in you, in other words, to cover me. The word here, well, that's on the next one. But where do we learn? Where do we learn that he's going to cover us? Get it from the Torah. We have a responsibility to build our relationship with him based on his word. The next verse, verse 10. Teach me to do your will, for you are Elohi. Elohi. This is a very special, wonderful thing. Elohi is my Elohim. This is a personal connection. When I say Yahuwah Elohi, I'm saying Yahuwah, my Elohim. Okay? Teach me to do your will. In other words, lamed. Lamed is the word for teach here. To do your will. You are my Elohim. I'm saying personally get involved in my life to teach me. How is Elohim going to get personally involved in my life to teach me? One, through his Torah, through his instruction. Two, by the power of Mashiach. And three, by the Ruach. So we say, by his word, I receive Yeshua. Through Yeshua, I receive Mashiach. And by the power of Mashiach, my ears, my eyes, my senses are open to the Ruach to guide me and lead me to where I have to go. Then it says, let your good spirit lead me in an even land. The word for even here is yasher. It means level, upright, straight, to be pleasing is the root of it. Now, this next verse is a verse that I found very interesting.